Alright guys, how we doing? Welcome back to episode 92, 93?
Fuck, it's irrelevant.
It is fucking irrelevant, just like everything we have to say. Why are you watching? I don't know. Sorry.
Subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Episode 90 something of Talk Scottish Football. We are late night recording once again. It's currently Monday the 6th of December. You'll get this Tuesday the 7th. If Div's not in here playing FIFA with me all night, which could be a serious possibility. I've got McGinley, I've got Div. We're gonna recap the weekend's action in all four leagues. There were some interesting games, some interesting results, a lot of controversial ref talk, which I'm sure we'll get into from the tail end of last week and at the weekend. Daddy Div, how are you? You've just pumped me at FIFA. Well, not really pumped me, but you beat me.
Freezing,
yeah, he is freezing.
Could not get the air conditioning to work today, boys.
No, that's why he's got the J-Scot on.
Get the J-Scot on.
McGinley's got the J-Scot on as well.
I've got it for moral support for Div.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
I was going to put the J-Scot on, but I've got
You've got a jumper.
Nice and warm. Yeah, roasty toasty, just out of Tesco once again.
Already tanned my G4 Claims hot chocolate.
Nice, yes.
To get some, get the blood pumping around the body.
Yeah, I think we should do that. We should do a feature on every show now about what like G4 Claims can like get their name to next. Like what can they? We just walked in today, didn't we? There's a new rug at the front.
New G4 Claims rug.
Have you noticed the hand towel in the toilet as well? Look at the G4 Claims logo on the hand towel in the toilet. They're relentless. You absolutely love to see it. So what next? What do we want when we come in here next? Like a G4 Claims like
hot tub.
That'd be brilliant.
Talk to me about
that would be good.
TSF.
Nobody wants to see me in my tap half.
No, same here. I'm wearing I'm putting my t-shirt on in the hot tub just so we're
one of those
for a couple of months.
So we're clear.
Or one of those old strips.
You can't. That's just a no-go though, is it? Like you can't wear a t-shirt in a swimming pool or something, can you?
Mate, if it's getting filmed for YouTube, I'll wear it. I'll put two layers on. All right, fuck yeah, I'll do what I want. Right, let's get stuck into it, shall we? Shall we start off with? Where do you want to start, Div? Start with Celtic yesterday.
Whatever. I forgot most of what's happened.
It's recent in the head. Let's go to Tannadice McGinley. Dundee United 0, Celtic 3. A very emphatic performance from Celtic. Created lots, scored some fantastic goals, and everyone was happy.
Well,
apart from the Dundee United fans,
there wasn't a lot of happy
and those
fans.
that had tickets in the Jerry Kerr stand.
Very true.
They weren't happy.
I think Kieran and Ryan had tickets for there and they couldn't get in.
Round them.
But I was in hospitality yesterday. Managed to a friend of a friend, and I was in the hospitality with the Dundee United fans. It was very difficult not to celebrate. But once I heard the first goal go in with Rogic, which is arguably goal of the season, I would say it's definitely up there for a contender for goal of the season. Once that one came in, I saw about 5 or 6 people celebrating around me, so I was like, I'm safe to celebrate. So the second and the third goal, when they did come, I did celebrate them.
Give the big ones.
Yeah, absolutely. But a great performance. It was probably the most complete performance, I would say, under Ange Postecoglou. We kept it going for about 75, 80 minutes of the 90 minutes. Just that 10-minute blip where we allowed Dundee United to get in the second half, get in a couple of wee shots. But all in all, a really, really good performance. McGregor, phenomenal in that number 6 position. Absolutely love him there.
We'll come back to that because I know you're going to give you a chance to rant and rave about that. Dev, did you catch the game?
Yep, I've seen it.
Thoughts?
I just thought that Celtic's strengths were perfect for Dundee United's weaknesses, and they almost exposed Dundee United's weaknesses to a T. I thought they were brilliant. As you say, some of their goals were exceptional. Going into the game, Celtic do a lot going through the middle. Like obviously Tom Rogic and David Turnbull are so pivotal, and with Tom Rogic coming back into this one, as you say, like his first goal was just exceptional. And then obviously David Turnbull got on the score sheet as well. He should probably have scored before that too. So it was just ruthless from Celtic and a very good day at the office for them.
Yeah, the Rogic goals is unbelievable. I mean, you don't have to tell me, never knows I'm a big admirer of Tom Rogic.
Phenomenal.
You can just tell with the reaction as well, with like all the players and the manager and that was a proper good
He's
goal.
been an interesting one this season because I remember I was certainly saying this 2-3 months ago when they first started playing Rogic and Turnbull just ahead of McGregor. I didn't think you could play Rogic and Turnbull in the same team, but I think they've proved since then you can. Rogic has really come onto a game, and what a goal. He's so good at that, and he's so strong, and he's quick feet, and just the finish. My favourite bit about the whole goal is he makes the yard and he takes the last wee touch just to make the tiny wee bit of space to bend the shot round. I thought was brilliant.
He's so good at that, but it's just a trademark Rogic goal. How many good goals has he scored in his career for us, man? He's absolutely phenomenal. He's went up a gear this season. He's obviously very happy playing under a manager that he knows will support him and really likes him. Obviously played in the national team with him or under him. He was absolutely brilliant yesterday. I was saying that a lot of the Dundee United players were chasing shadows. They couldn't even get close to Rogic's shadow yesterday. He was just absolutely dominating them. He's a freak of nature. He shouldn't be able to be as skillful for being that tall, but he somehow manages to have this low centre of gravity.
Yeah, the physical attributes he's got, like, he should be a different type of player.
He's quite strong as well.
He's very strong, and you notice that with that. He beats the first couple of men and they just can't get near him. He's so strong. The second goal was a cranker as well, though.
Underrated, I would say. It's been kind of lost in the middle of the Rogic goal, but that first touch from Turnbull is phenomenal.
And the wee twirl.
The twirl as well. It was like some... Ronaldinho does that, you go crazy over it. I know obviously he's not playing anymore, but...
Especially now.
That's an Alan Partridge moment already, man.
Is he not in the slammer?
Is
he
no, I think he's out now.
I think he got away with it. What was it, he faked a passport or something?
Something like that.
Was it a COVID passport?
I mean, you're not going to get away with that if you're Ronaldinho, are you?
Exactly.
You can't come out with a passport that says, like... I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Jimmy
like,
Stevens.
He's just a party animal. He's a cheeky chappy, isn't he? But,
he's mental.
Do you know, it was probably going to go in from the chip anyway, but I'm glad that he followed it up and just made it a resounding finish.
Callum McGregor, I'm going to get your thoughts on this first, Div. McGinley's been raving, and there's been a thing on Celtic Twitter, I've noticed that McGinley's very much pro Callum McGregor playing as the 6, as a deep line midfielder, and he took a wee bit of stick for that of a few people.
Couple of people.
A couple of people on Twitter, a couple of tweets here and there. What are your thoughts on, well, first of all, his performance, and also where you see him as his best position in that midfield for Celtic?
I think he's the best suited midfielder at Celtic to play that position. In games domestically, I think you can totally get away with playing Callum McGregor there, and he can dominate games like he did yesterday. The only thing for me is in those bigger games, or in Europe or the Old Firms or whatever, do you play him a wee bit further forward and bring somebody else in to play with him and take either a Turnbull or a Rogic out the team? But I've heard Ange Postecoglou go on record and saying this is the way I play, kind of thing. And I have seen some Celtic fans talking about the whole Plan B thing, and that you've obviously got yourself into some great positions in Europe and just kept kind of playing the same way, and it ultimately came back to biting the ass. So potentially in the bigger games, if he does decide still to go with McGregor in that kind of 6 role and the other 2 in front of him, if it gets to 60 minutes or something like that, then you change it up, But I definitely think domestically he can totally get away with it because he's dominating the ball for a vast majority of the game. And if you think about like your typical 6s, like your elite 6s in the world at the moment, you're maybe thinking Fabinho and Rodri and guys like that.
Yep.
They can all play.
They can all play for sure, but they're maybe getting the more tackles, more interceptions and all that sort of stuff. So as I say, maybe in the bigger games that could be something you change, but domestically, yeah.
McGregor in the
Very
6, you might be able to tell me what season it was, but I remember, maybe was it 18, 19? There was a spell where Brown was out injured for a couple of months, and McGregor played that role, and he was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I remember at that time there was lots of talk, does Brown get back in? McGregor's so good there.
That should have been probably the time he was ushered out the team, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But, he's clearly got that in the locker.
Yep.
And I think, we talk about Celtic's injuries, obviously Jota's injuries now. I still think that the one player they've got to keep fit is Callum McGregor. I think I'd really, really, really for that whole worry for the whole team if Callum McGregor dropped out.
We don't challenge for the league if Callum McGregor gets injured. He's so pivotal to absolutely everything he does, everything that we do, rather. Well, if he's in the 6, absolutely brilliant, but he can play further forward as well. We've got Beaton that can play the number 6 as well. He's been revitalised. He's had a bit of a renaissance in the midfield because he's not been playing as a centre half as much, unless he's
just to get a contract extension, then he'll be shite again.
Well, he's waiting for that testimonial. I think he's eligible in a couple of years.
Who's going to turn up for that?
The Israel 11.
Neil Lennon.
It'll be Neil Lennon with one of those things that you crank. He's got a great affiliation with Israel, as you know.
Minister and Aaron Zahavi turn up and they just get chased out of Glasgow again.
I think they just stay in Glasgow the amount of times they're there. They'll probably just get a gaff somewhere.
And was there a more unlikely scorer of the third goal than Liam Scales? I mean, you never would have saw that coming, but he looked absolutely delighted, the boy, didn't he?
He done well when he came on as well, do you know, in the limited amount of time that he's had on the pitch.
Peter Law must be loving that, vindicated.
I called him the Launderer. He's Liam the Launderer Scales because he's keeping Shamrock Rovers afloat. But do you know what? He done so well when he came on. The whole left-hand side yesterday looked a whole lot better ever since Greg Taylor came back, and it's incredible that I'm saying that.
Having a left-footed left-back playing left-back makes the team better.
Juranovic playing right-back, and Juranovic is the starting right back now. Come on, we've got to be honest.
But do you think that'll stay that now? Do you think Taylor's back in for good? Because I thought ever since he's been injured that as soon as he got back, Ralston will be out of the team and Juranovic got right back.
Yeah, I think it will be like that. I think it'll be Taylor and Juranovic. Juranovic is too good to be on the bench, and I don't think...
Probably, but I just think that's so harsh on Ralston. He's been exceptional.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Ralston was a lost cause in the summer and he was shite and all this. And I know Celtic fans don't like Greg Taylor, but why not give the option of having Greg Taylor working under Ange and working and knowing the role and playing games? Who's to say he can't get just as good as Ralston?
It's very
I've said that. I've said that on this podcast about giving Greg Taylor the opportunity to grow and flourish under a better coach and a new regime, but I just wouldn't throw Ralston under the bus straight away because the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
No,
I know that Juranovic
is
for sure. I know Juranovic has obviously got this reputation in coming. He's an international player and all that, but Ralston has been exceptional this season.
They're good for different things. I would say Ralston's really good at forcing the issue at right back. He kind of drives the team forward. He's a bit of a mouthpiece as well. He's getting the team G'd up and going. Juranovic very much, he just goes about his business very quietly. There's a couple of touches he had yesterday. You're like, this guy is international quality.
But also, he's not had a run of games in his actual position yet,
and this is a good chance for him.
Exactly. But the other thing is, I'm not saying you bomb Ralston out completely, but you've now gone from a stage where they brought on Montgomery midweek for Ralston when he got injured. Now Greg Taylor's back in there. It's just another better option to have at fullback, whereas they've been really limited there in recent weeks.
Yeah, I mean, we've been limited at right back for ages now, so it's good to have two options that we know that we can rely upon. And it's it's all credit to Anthony Ralston, because at the start of the season people were questioning why he even got a new deal. Now he got a new deal on top of that deal that he got in the summer.
And he got in the Scotland squad. He's had a good start.
And I don't think he can feel too disheartened. He was going to pick up an injury at some point this season, the amount of games that he played.
Who, Ralston?
Aye.
It's the fact that he picked up the injury as well for the cross that Kyogo ultimately scored.
Aye, I know.
But also, I mean, he was
really good in that game too until he came off.
This really could have been his last season at Celtic. I think everyone probably would have expected that to be the case. And now he's going to solidify himself a Celtic future under Ange, which is a big thing for him. Just from a Dundee United point of view, Celtic just tore them apart, didn't they? Really, they could not handle them.
No, absolutely. I mean, we were talking about it, and I think when Rangers went to Tannadice, they played into their hands. They allowed them to drop 10-15 yards back. There was crosses into the box, and they were really comfortable in getting them away and then resetting and that. Whereas Celtic just got after them, split the defence multiple times. It was just pressure, relentless. And when you get the Dundee United centre halves, I think in that position, maybe they're running towards their own goal, whatever, that's when they can come up short for sure. But it can happen to any team really in the league.
Yeah, the big contentious it's not even contentious at all. Not. But the referee and stuff. I mean, I want to segue this into, before we come to the rest of the games, a wee discussion on this, because obviously we haven't done a show. We didn't do a show at the end of last week, so we didn't react to the Hearts Celtic game just because we didn't. I don't need to explain myself to anybody. Okay.
All right.
There was no
Ryan had to get him.
It was a yes or no. We didn't do a show. Okay.
Yes or no.
Yes or no. It's a retro TSF moment, that you're referencing there with that TikTok. Kyogo he looked just offside against Hearts. It was close. It could have gone one way or the other. Crawford Allen then goes in Radio Scotland.
Yep.
For some utterly bizarre reason to discuss a very contentious, close, controversial, it's not really that controversial because it wasn't that much of an obvious mistake. Then at the weekend we see throughout the SPFL numerous mistakes that were a lot worse than that mistake, that are now gonna, it's a can of worms now, because why is he going on to justify that? Is he going to do it again tomorrow to justify what's happened this weekend? Well, he's not going to do that, is he? But Callum Butcher's tackle on David Turnbull was a disgrace.
It's a leg breaker.
He should get a hefty ban for that for me, because he's got previous as well.
Aye.
He's always that kind of player in terms of the tackles he puts in. I've seen him do it before, and it is a leg breaker. David Turnbull's very lucky that studs aren't planted, otherwise he's out for the best part of a year. It was a shocker, and the ref, I haven't seen enough replays of it to see what view the ref had. I don't know if he had players in front of him. I don't know.
Plenty of support on the sidelines as
well. I think
because
Butcher goes into Turnbull and the ref is behind Butcher, isn't he? So he probably can't see exactly
how bad
where
it
the
is.
contact is. Surely you can even gauge the situation.
If I'm being perfectly honest, when I was at the game, I thought it was a yellow card because of the follow through on Turnbull, because I thought he got the ball with one foot and then the other foot goes straight into Turnbull. Watching the replays when I went back into the room after the game, it was an absolute shocker. He's got to see that. Somebody's got to help him there. It's an absolute scandalous tackle, especially on a guy like Turnbull who's just, I feel he's not just came back from a long-term injury, but you know what he's been through as well. You don't want him being out again with that sort of injury.
Yeah, it's just a shocking tackle.
I'm just glad he's alright though, that's the thing.
Yeah, we'll get a retrospective ban for that, no doubt. I really think it should be a good few games. Now, there'll be more refereeing decisions, we'll come on to it as we go through. So since we've done Celtic first, let's go to Ibrox. And I haven't seen anything of this game other than a highlights compilation of Lee Griffiths off the bench, which was one of the most
which I shared to the masses.
Entertaining watches I've seen in a long time.
I would have liked to have watched just like a highlight reel of Lee Griffiths,
just a camera on him.
What's with the one where he gets it like 30 yards out of his back to goal and he boots it back to left back when nobody is and Rangers are in down the right hand side?
I think he lost his head for about 10-15 minutes. He should have probably saw red, and then he did calm down. He had an opportunity in that, but even on the bench he was giving the gestures and all that to the crowd.
Yeah, we've jumped into him, but I thought it was just funny. But give us your thoughts on a comfortable afternoon for Rangers.
Yeah, I thought Rangers were really, really good. Said before it, I think Scott Arfield needs to come back in, which is crazy because like a couple of months ago he just looked so far out of the fold. It was crazy. Gerrard was even talking about it in press conferences and such, and saying we need the kind of old Scott Arfield back in that, which it's strange because he's come right back at this team and he's been firing, he looks fit and all that. But I thought he had to come in for midfield runs and just the legs in the midfield, because we've seen earlier in the season Charlie Adam playing in there. If he's not got legs around about him, you can really get after
I did tell
Dundee.
you all this would happen.
I said that, and then the following week they went and beat Motherwell 3-0 and Charlie Adam was absolutely exceptional. But still, I think that was pivotal, bringing a guy like Scott Arfield in and straight away his midfield runs were really, really good and caused a lot of problems.
Charlie Adam's one of the only like midfield players in a bottom half team that can compete with Rangers midfielders technically. Like he's so good technically. So if you take away the legs and you make him rush, if he gets a bit of time, he can't hurt you. Yeah. Is what I'm saying. There's not many of that sort of. There's nobody in St Mirren's team that's going to get on the ball and really hurt you in midfield.
Alan Pillar.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He might hurt you like Callum Butcher.
Every game, man.
I think that Rangers used that against Charlie Adam in this game because they know the kind of player he is. You know that he's kind of a technician. He's more of a technical player. So when he was getting given the ball, I think that was almost a cue for Rangers to go and press, because they knew he was going to try and find a pass rather than maybe just play it in behind. And they caught him on the ball just outside the box a good couple of times in that, and it should have probably been more for Rangers to be honest, but it was just one of the kind of routine ones at home, and it was impressive.
Joe Aribo got the first goal. He's been absolutely flying, and he was involved throughout again.
He's been undoubtedly Rangers' best player so far this season, and he's just went to a new level. I'm really enjoying watching him play in this new role where he just seems to have been given more freedom.
Yep. And
with this new role, I just see him going to another level and getting more goals and getting more assists and being more involved.
Do you worry about losing him in January?
The board have come out and says they don't need to sell in January and such, but
they have to say that though, don't they?
No, I don't think they do. That'd be lying, wouldn't it?
They've kind of got to calm things down.
Aye, but that'd be lying coming out and saying that. So no, I don't think so. But he is one that you would worry about.
Yeah,
because
certainly look at that squad. He will probably be the next. We said it in the summer. We thought Kamara would be the next one. It didn't happen. Then he signed a new deal.
Yeah.
So you're looking at like Aribo probably being the main one.
Jordi Bustori, I mean, he's playing non-league, and then he got his chance at Charlton and that, and then now he's playing up here. And even his manager at Charlton says when he took the Rangers opportunity that it was daft not to, and it wouldn't benefit him. Now he's playing international football, he's playing at a high level, he's playing European football, and he's just went to a new level.
He's one of the form players in the league just now. He really is just playing out his skin.
I think he's top 5 players in the league at the moment for sure.
I would say so as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Definitely.
Definitely get more freedom in that new role that he's got under Gio.
Yeah. The second goal was an own goal. Ryan Sweeney at centre half. The big worry for Dundee. Lee Ashcroft's out injured for the foreseeable. Looking at they didn't even fill the bench on Sunday. Dundee. They've got
six players,
plenty of injuries, and Ashcroft's a big one because he's been so solid for them since he signed for them last year and at the start of this year. Kind of worrying a little bit about Dundee with the injuries and that, and they've kind of stuttered along, haven't they? Ultimately, they've just got to survive. That's all that matters. But third goal, Morelos,
he was pretty wasteful during the game. He missed.
Who'd have thought it? Huh?
He missed a couple of opportunities. No, he wasn't in that FIFA game, to be fair.
He rattled one. He
scored a few against you, but he's pretty wasteful in the game. But he managed to get his goal, and that'll be very important for his confidence going forward. Even getting into this game, there was a few saying, because he started really well obviously under Gio, and then he had a quiet game in the last one. There was a few saying give somebody else an opportunity, like Kemar Roof, who was on the bench again, but no, he stuck with Morelos. He seems to be his man, and he got his goal, which was very important. As I says, he wasn't connecting with stuff the way that he should have been really in the first half, and then up until his goal. But the goal was just typical Alfredo Morelos. He just kept going, and it felt him, and he got the goal. Fashion Sakala was one that I was pretty impressed with in the game as well. I just thought his touch, like his first touch in that to set him up for the shots, he just looks so sharp. So.
He's rapid. He's absolutely rapid.
He is rapid, him.
He, on Morelos, I mean, Roof obviously had an injury after the international break and he was on the bench, but he didn't come on Saturday. Is it quite telling that Gerrard always persisted Morelos as his main man? Even when he was out of form, he always persisted with Morelos, and Gio's come in straight away and Morelos is the main man up front. Whereas I think there's been a lot of discussion recently about Roof should be the man to lead the line because Morelos wasn't in great form. Morelos is always still the go-to. He's always going to have this upturn in form. He never stays shite for much. He doesn't stay shite for long. Yeah. He always has an upturn in form. And
even when he's not playing at his greatest, he's still getting 3-4 chances a game. He's still being a nuisance to defenders. I think it's going to take a wee while for the new Alfredo Morelos that Gerrard was trying to create to be kind of coached out of him and bring his kind of raw attributes back to the table in full force.
Ryan Jack came on again at the weekend.
I'm starting to worry.
Is that his first?
Yes.
Is it his first appearance?
He wasn't even on the bench the last one.
Okay, so I thought he'd already been back. I didn't realise that was his first one.
He wasn't on the bench for the Livi game, and people are putting it down to obviously plastic pitch, and then I'm pretty positive he wasn't in the bench for the following game.
There's a hole in that Rangers midfield with Ryan Jack's name on it. It's where Scott Arfield I think was playing at the weekend, because Davis isn't going to be around for long, is he? Think about it that way.
Aye.
So there's that. I mean, if Jack can get back fit, and we forget about the form he was in pre-injury for club and country. How good was he for Scotland beside Callum McGregor? They were brilliant. I can't see him get back ahead of Gilmore now, but it'll give us an option. But for Rangers, if he can get a run of games, it's going to be tough at this time of year because it's so hectic. The intensity is now so high, and he's not played much.
Be good for rotation though.
Yeah, I mean that kind of game at the weekend would have been a game for him to start, but obviously it's just a bit too early in his kind of return. But it's exciting for you lot to have him back.
Aye, for sure.
Oh, okay, cool. No, I was just.
I've spoken enough. I'll let you boys get a wee chat.
I don't really give a shite. I'll move on quite happily. And did you hope that wee T-Kick was going to do you a service at the weekend? It didn't really
expect anything, mate.
Once he gets, I mean, what is he now? About 28 months into his road back to full fitness.
What was it that John Hartson said to? He fancies him to get 25 goals this season. I didn't know he was going to get a deal with Troon.
I ratioed him.
Mate, you ratioed John Hartson, did you?
I'm positive I ratioed him with it. After his debacle and says more chance of 25-1 from Bellini.
That was good. I'll give you that.
That's alright, that tweet.
He's still on the payroll at Celtic. That is embarrassing in itself.
He got a new contract, didn't he? I think that was a Desmond move as well.
I don't know.
I wonder what will happen to Lee Griffiths at the end of the season, because he's not going to get signed for Dundee, is he?
He needs to get away from Scotland. That's for the sake of his career.
And go where?
I don't know, somewhere.
He's got no interest. He's clearly got no interest.
I know he does look like he's chucked it. I mean, his body shape at the weekend did not.
I'm not
great.
wanting to sit here and comment on other people's body shape because I have no right.
At the end of the day,
exactly.
There's a certain way you should look, or a way you shouldn't look, and he definitely looks it. I think he needs to get away from Scotland and Leaf in particular for as long as possible.
Yeah. Right, let's go to Pittodrie for what I think was probably the result of the weekend in terms of win for Aberdeen, 4-1 emphatic. We talked a lot about when Stephen Glass came in, he wanted to change the way Aberdeen played. He wanted to get them attacking, scoring goals, creating chances. The conditions were pretty hellish at Pittodrie, but Aberdeen, made the best of them. 2 goals from Marley Watkins and 2 from Ramirez. You said in the car it was Hedges that got 2, and I knew it was Watkins, but you made me doubt myself.
No, I didn't say that.
You did say. Fuck off.
Is it Hedges that scored against Livingston?
Hedges, I think, set up.
Talk me through the Watkins goals then.
I can't remember, but I've seen them, but I can't remember. I don't know, but it happened in the 6th minute. What a start, by the way. I mean, they were 2-0 up in 10 minutes.
Yes.
And St Mirren will come on to being a shite. I mean, if you do that at home to them, you're thinking your quid's in. Ramirez has been an interesting one because he had a really good start. And then he kind of, I think he was injured for a bit and he dipped off, and then he's come back in amongst the goals again. He looks like a good signing. But I mean, Aberdeen, 24 shots at home, 4 goals. That is what Aberdeen fans have been crying out for years. That kind of performance. The keeper, Stephen Glass, McGinley, can he make it consistent? Can they keep doing that in games like that?
That's the challenge, isn't it? They've been so inconsistent this season, or they've been consistent in getting beaten a lot of games this season in that sort of middle part. But it's a really good result for them. They've got dangerous players all over the park. It's just all about getting the best out of them. 2 goals each from Watkins and Ramirez. Watkins has been in and around the team for a wee while this season.
Yeah,
so
he was a great signing getting back again because he was here at the start of last season and he was really good, and then they went to January, he got injured, and then they had that nightmare with strikers where they went Fraser Hornby. Who else did they get in? Fraser Hornby, who else did they get?
Canberra.
There was one other. Who was the other one? Oh, Callum Hendry. Yeah, and the three of them just were all disasters. And then Watkins came back again this year. So just at the top end of the pitch, they were toothless in the second half of last season. Yeah, they were really, really toothless, and now they've got a real threat.
It was an absolute nightmare of a run they had last season.
9 games without a goal. That's just
people have talked a lot about Glass's job being under threat. I mean, they're only 9 points off third. That might sound a lot, but it isn't really that much if you can put a run together. Because I suspect Hearts will have a bad run soon. I think that'll happen. There's no way they're keeping this up all season long.
I think they'll have sketchy form here and there. I think they'll win a game then lose a game.
Yeah, I think that I can see them dropping a few points. But Aberdeen, if they can get a bit of momentum now, that will be good. St Mirren, though, what, they winless in 7, did we say?
Yeah, round about that. And this was a game that I thought was going to be quite close when you looked at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
St Mirren haven't been scoring a lot of goals, but they don't tend to ship a lot either. Same with Aberdeen. So I thought this was going to be quite close. I did think Aberdeen would get that goal and maybe just pip it, but to go out and just absolutely hammer them was some performance.
It was a good finish from Tanzer though, their consolation goal that they got.
Yeah,
it wasn't really a consolation goal because it was
made it 2-1,
made
didn't
it 2-1, but then Marley Watkins went and scored in the next minute. But they were in the game at that point. But
it's
it was a good finish.
It's 8 with it.
8 now. Wow. So it was 7 going in it.
Tom at work, my manager, who we've referenced a lot, St Mirren fan. A couple of stories about Tom this week because we've not mentioned him for a while. He was trying to tell me that he thought Jim Goodwin was going yesterday when he saw me in work. He said he'd heard a wee rumour that Goodwin was away. And I laughed it off. I'm not having that at all. But he wants Goodwin to get to fuck, basically. Which I think is just mental. That is mental. St Mirren are forgetting. I personally, and I might get slagged off for this, I think Dunfermline are a bigger club than St Mirren. Personally, I might be wrong. I might get slagged off for it. I think that's the case. They're certainly at very similar levels in terms of club stature and all the rest of it, right? Look at St Mirren and look at Dunfermline. Look at Falkirk, Dunfermline and St Mirren are all very similar sized clubs. And look at the three of them. St Mirren fans, they need to just chill.
Just a wee side note, I hope their EGM is getting recorded this evening.
It's not going to be recorded.
I watched the whole hour and a half of that, man. Brilliant.
Oh, it's just amazing. But yes, St Mirren are not in a good run. But again, we knew this would be tough with the battle for top 6 being so intense this year with Dundee United going again, Hearts up and all the rest of it. Surely for St Mirren still staying in the league is a reasonable imperative. Season.
I think that the whole budget thing is just hanging over his head, isn't it?
Yeah, the biggest budget in St Mirren's
history. Some of the players that they've went out and got. Brophy being a standout to me when Aberdeen and such wanted them. They could pay more money. They gave Goodwin a new contract. So I think that's maybe hanging over his head at the moment.
I think if it wasn't for that new contract last year, he might be in the dugout at Pittodrie now. Because there was a time before they went for Stephen Glass, I thought Jim Goodwin was going to be the guy to get that job, but it didn't really happen. But great win for Aberdeen. Hedges was involved throughout again. He was lots of plaudits for him. Really good player. He's been unlucky with injuries, but if he can find some consistency, if he has some consistency, he won't be at Aberdeen for long.
He was touch and go for the game as well because he came off the previous game, but he obviously made it, and he's a huge player for them. Speaking of players that have found consistency this year, Anthony Watt is fire. Absolutely flying. Another great goal. Really, really good finish. I wonder if it's still a ludicrous suggestion for me to suggest he should be capped for Scotland. I mean, that's a ludicrous suggestion, isn't it? For the top scorer in the league. I mean,
way it's going.
How dare I? Yeah, he knows. See the boy. What's a good call? Months ago, in fact. I was saying that. See Jacob Brown. What's his position? He's a striker. Aye. He plays behind. He plays in a 3-5-2 for Stoke, and he plays behind Stephen Fletcher. Surely Tony Watt is in. But Jacob Brown is tailor-made for that role off Lyndon Dykes. That was the kind of reason behind it. I think Tony Watt's changed his game though as well. He's not just this kind of guy. Well, look at the two goals. Look at the 2 goals he scored in the last week. Yeah, they are superb. Playing off second balls almost, isn't it? Really. Let's be honest. He's always had this in him. It's just the fact that he's not had a home. He's not had a home. He's not stayed at a club for more than 2 seasons maybe. Yeah. But how long has he been at Motherwell now? Is that over 2 seasons now? I think this will begin in his third. Yeah, it's his longest spell. It's his longest spell. Yeah. He's played the most games for this club, the most in his career, and the most goals. He looks settled. He looks so settled, and the confidence is oozing out of him just now. Whenever he shoots, you think he's going to score. I've got a theory. It's the low socks. Aye, mate. See, since he's gone with the low socks, he's like a different animal, and it just he just looks like a player. You know when you see people, you see guys like that in the pitch, right, and you go, he's either going to be unbelievable or so shit. Either a Cummins or a Grealish. He's ripped as well, man. Even Cummings though, although he's not taking his career seriously right now, and he's still young. I think he's only 26. Tony Watt, 25, 26. Aye, that's crazy when you think about how long he's been kicking a ball. Just coming back to the Scotland squad thing, the thing that might hamper him now is the other goal scorer on the day has found a little bit of form himself, and Kevin Nisbit over the last 4 or 5 games. Well. He scores some good goals again. He's really, I think since the semi-final, which I thought he was brilliant that day, in terms of his link-up, his hold-up. He got a goal up at Ross County last week. He got a goal, obviously, at the weekend. But again, Hibs are just, they're not a happy bunch. There's no fucking fans going to Easter Road. What's that all about?
I know.
Have you seen it? It's half
Maybe
empty.
it's the ticket prices that we spoke about.
It might be, but they're not in a...
They still want half an allocation for Hampden, though.
It feels like, well, I'm not even going to come on to that for another show.
That's just a crazy one, isn't it?
Wait, I think... Okay, fuck it, I'm going to come on to it, why not?
Fair enough.
So here's my thought on it, right? I think every single cup final, unless it's like stupid, unless it's like Celtic against fucking... If it's Celtic against Alloa, I'm not saying you go half, right? But what I'm saying is, if it's Celtic against Hibs, Aberdeen, Hearts, you start off 50-50, and the club that you think might not sell it, they get a deadline. They've got to shift a certain number of tickets by. If they don't, they get handed back. Yeah. Because a cup final is a neutral event. Now, I get the frustration, but I think there should be a starting point, and neutral. And if they don't, they've got a deadline to shift these tickets. If they don't, or they've got to do a certain number by a certain time. If not, they lose 10,000. Because I just think you should start it off with a neutral thing, and then we go from there. But
I'm not complaining too much. I got a ticket for the final, so.
But it's a debate that'll rumble on.
I think there was a bit of messing about in the semi-final as well, and it ended up that there was some tickets that weren't sold because of how long it took and all that sort of stuff.
So how many did Hibs get in total? Because they got a few extra. 20,000 in the end, did they?
17,500 was the original number. Then they sold that out pretty quickly, but they done it in a general sale.
I don't think that matters though. It's not.
No, it doesn't necessarily matter, but it just means that it's going to a lot of kind of...
If the demand is there and they're buying tickets, I don't know. It fuck knows. But I tell you right now, as much as they're playing Celtic in that final, I think Jack Ross has got to win that. If Jack Ross doesn't win that cup final, he will not be Hibs manager this time next year. There you go.
This time next year?
Yeah. I'm not putting a finer prediction on it than that.
But I just think he's right on him.
He's doomed if he doesn't win this cup final, because they're fucking raging with him.
See the amount of semi-finals and finals.
But it's because of the context of last season, with it being Celtic and Rangers.
He's turned into Stephen Robinson, isn't he?
It's like he's Derek McInnes, but he's not been there as long.
And Derek McInnes.
They're also fed up of him, and like the Robinson thing was different because I thought that was incredibly harsh. This I can kind of get, because 2 sets of semi-finals last year in both domestic cups, Celtic and Rangers nowhere to be seen. Hibs should have won both cups.
Absolutely.
They should have won both cups. They also played the Scottish semi for the year prior and get put out of Hearts. That was a big one. Who were in a lower league at the time.
Missed the penalty?
Yes.
Yeah, Nisbit missed the penalty, aye.
So yeah, they're in a bad way. But you can see the general levels of apathy by the crowds, because Easter Road's always had more than that.
It's crazy. I mean, did you see their display as well?
Where do you think they would go though if they did get rid of Jack Ross? Who do you think they'd bring in?
Big Chipper? No, I don't know.
We always ask this question, don't we? And then clubs just go out and get somebody, and you're like, oh, that's not. So there will be somebody out there, but
they've got that winger coming in. He's already at
Christopher Muller.
Yeah, so
he arrived at
maybe
weekend.
He might give them a wee bit of a boost.
Yes, they need something a bit fresh. And that's the other thing. We had it a lot recently. With Stevenson's contract was renewed, Hanlon's was renewed. They've got like McGinn. It seems a little bit stale, that squad. Lots of it.
I would say so as well. Like Hibs backed Jack Ross in like last year or whatever, and then in the summer there they didn't really bring in a lot of players, did they?
That's quite telling in the fact that they knew maybe he's not going to be around for much longer if he doesn't. Like if you go and back him again.
But also COVID and all that could have been a factor too. But when you looked across the city at Hearts and the recruitment that they were doing, I know that they wanted Barry Mackay, didn't they, as well?
But that's slightly different in that they were back in the Prem. They had to go again, didn't they?
But they already had a strong squad, and they still went out and they signed quite a lot of boys.
This is another thing on the Hibs thing. The fact that Hearts have done so well is amplifying Hibs' problems.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But anyway, we didn't talk much about the actual game there because none of us have really.
Just seen the goals, really.
Yeah, same here. Nothing you want to add? We did a good bit of talking.
Another good point from Motherwell.
I want the two of them in the squad.
Fair play, Graham Alexander.
Done a good job. Aye,
really doing well. Yeah, you want the two of them in the squad? Ooh.
Aye, I would take the boy Brown up.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, whatever the fuck have we seen of Brown? Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, I haven't, but Steve Clark obviously has.
Aye, obviously Clark has, but I can't sit here and vouch for
there's one thing that I have to say just now, and it's that I know fuck all and Clark knows best, which has been proven very much over the last fucking 6 months.
Potentially, but the boy Brown didn't even play in the last one, but maybe expected to see him.
He did come on at one of the games. He came on against Moldova.
Right. He came on quite late on, didn't he?
Yeah. Nah, I get Tony Watt.
But I think the Brown thing is very much the role he's going to play.
Tony Watt's very different from any other strikers we've got. It's just the way he plays. He's awkward. He's very, very awkward.
He's not going to play ahead of Adams But also, Jacob Brown's there, but I still think Ryan Christie's the man for that role. I still think there's class man for that role.
But I think
striker.
Tony Watt's a bit of a wild card, and I like that.
I don't think there's a place for Watt and Nisbet, if I'm honest.
No,
because we don't need 4 strikers in the squad with the way we play. Because Christie is basically a striker in that setup, and that he plays.
I like
off.
Christie just behind.
So you've got 4. You've got Dykes, Adams, Christie, and Nisbet/Watt, and Brown, who's all of a sudden.
Nisbet doesn't even get a look in. Does he?
Who did Brown come in for? Was somebody missing? That's because Dykes was suspended against Moldova, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, move on. Where should we go next? Oh, let's quickly talk about Ross County and St Johnstone, which was postponed at 2:15, which is a fucking shambles, to be perfectly honest. And the poor county fans that have made the trip down, it's a disgrace, to be honest. If there was any doubt, it should have been called in the morning, but again, they just don't think about these things. But it was one area of the pitch, was it not, that was the problem?
Yeah, it was down towards
the corner, was it not?
Yeah, the corner flag,
Yeah, so just not ideal.
I only seen one video, and it was Stephen McLean, I believe, the referee, and he just threw the ball down, and it just stuck. It didn't even bounce at all. So it was obviously bad. It stopped raining as well, but they were fearing the fact that if it rained again, the full pitch would have just been
But
shit.
see it 2:15. Why not just wait until 3? Give it another 45, because everyone's fucking there anyway. Let's be honest. It's not like
if you're coming for Dingwall,
maybe okay. Right, final game of the weekend was a bit of a stinker, really. But there were some good things to talk about. Actually, stinker's a bit harsh.
It's harsh. The scoreline looked like a stinker, but there was some talking points in the game.
Hearts' first half performance was a stinker anyway. But Liam Boyce got a goal. For Heart of Midlothian, and it was Hearts 1, Livingston
from
0.
open play as well,
which is a rarity for Liam Boyce. Even the Championship last year, most of his goals seemed to be pens. But the talking point of the game is just Craig Gordon just being superhuman again, with probably the save of the season. We'll do well to see better than that, I think. I think that's an unbelievable save,
in the
by the
league,
way, because he sees it quite. Okay, fine. Well, I'm not caveating that. It was a throwaway comment. He sees it quite late as well. He comes through a few bodies, and he doesn't have any time to move his feet. If you watch it, he jumps from where he stood. He doesn't actually move and jump, and then he tips it onto the post, and he gets up, and he gets the second one and smothers it, and he makes a big save just before that as well. It was a mental bit of play.
I'm more impressed with Jason Holt's shot, the fact he got it off the ground. What a save, though.
It's another example of a player just being in a perfect fit with a club, much like Tony Watt.
Confidence, form.
He definitely is. You can see the confidence exuding.
It's mental how all these factors. We don't often talk about them in terms of like. It's mental how a player feels affects a performance. Like that should be such a basic thing, but it's not something we ever really consider.
Because we dehumanise them, man.
We absolutely do. We're very guilty of that as a just culture, really. But yeah, he's
actually. I seen John Terry talking about that, and it was on TikTok. I seen it. It was a clip. And
I know, but you know what? That
pissed
me off, that clip.
Well, aye, John Terry, but
not that.
If you just break it down, the actual story for anybody that doesn't know is when he was assistant manager at Aston Villa, there was a player that wasn't in the team, and he was watching him in training, and he was going, he is just no at it, and he ended up going through him. And when he went to speak to Dean Smith about it, he says to him, basically, if you asked him how like his family life is, and brought the human aspect back into it.
That's management.
I know, but when you look at John Terry and his the manager he played under, where he was maybe most successful, was Jose Mourinho, and some of the stories you hear about Jose. So he's went and spoke to the player and basically asked him about his home life because of COVID and that. He's not seen his family, this, that and the next thing. They gave him the day off to go and see his family, and then he came in and he just looked like a different player.
But that's just good management. I wasn't having to bumming up a John Terry for that. That's what you should do in that kind of job.
You should, but it didn't
Stop
happen.
Dehumanising
John Terry's an arsehole.
Dehumanising John Terry.
Celtic back into it, but that was a big problem last season because you could see that players just weren't settled at all.
Get off me. And yeah, well, I know they weren't. Nobody was, but the human aspect of Celtic last season would make a great documentary.
I still can't believe Amazon didn't do that.
I see that. I know. And Rangers, to be fair, I would have loved that. But
I thought they were, because they kept on tweeting about Rangers. I was like, they must have something.
See, I seen a stat, and it might be a load of crap, but I think it was for the game before this one, and it was the fact that Celtic were 1 point better off or something like that. At this time last year when they were off throwing the fences, know that? That's crazy, isn't it?
Context in it.
Because Rangers were doing so well last season as well.
And also because Celtic at the start of last season should have been fucking pissed.
I think the fans are more sympathetic now because they know that we're in a sort of rebuilding stage, and we're seeing positives on the pitch now, which is great. The thing about we were getting results up until about October, start of November, but the performances were awful, so we knew that we were getting away with it, so there was a wee bit of anger even building up then. But this season you can see the sort of confidence in the new system.
How many performances have been under Ange that have been dreadful? Or that you can take no positives? I don't think it's been anything I've seen. Even when they've been beat, you can see, like the Leverkusen game, they got humped, right? But you can see positives in that, in terms of how they played in the first half.
There was
points in the Hearts game
Livi
away from home that we probably should have scored and won the game. But
I mean, what was the starting 11 that day? There
I think Edouard played.
It's incredible looking at the starting 11 now.
It's
like
team.
an almost. It is a different team because
there was no Kyogo that day.
Kyogo came off the bench and played in the wing.
Okay.
He tried to beat one guy and the guy just nudged him.
That's right, because everyone thought he was into the Scott Sinclair thing, didn't they? That was the thing.
Just shows you how quickly time passes.
Absolutely.
And football,
I've never been more aware of it now than looking at the time on that recording. Right, let's move on to the Championship. We're going to start at the Fountain Youth Stadium because I want to just get it off my chest. Come back to dreadful referee. Have you both seen this? The Graham Doran's red card.
Yeah, I've seen it. Aye.
Have you not seen it?
I've not seen it, sorry.
Right, so Dunfermline got beat 1-0 of Hamilton Academical in one of the worst games of football I've ever seen in my life. Both teams were just awful. And we were beat 1-0 by a David Moyle penalty after Graham Dorans was sent off for a handball on the line that hit him square in the chest. David Monroe, referee, decided he'd handballed it. He's obviously guessed because he hasn't seen it hit his hand, because it didn't hit his hand. So the referee's guessed and got it wrong and cost Dunfermline 3 points. Dunfermline didn't deserve in and out the game based on their performance, but as Yogi said really well post-match, that doesn't mean Hamilton deserved to win the game. They had to earn it, and they didn't. Well, they didn't because it was a decision. You lose a goal, you lose a man with half an hour to go, the game's done, and it's because of a refereeing decision rather than the other team breaking you down, which they didn't do even when we had 10 men. It was just awful, but
it's hard to take. Really
frustrated. Yeah, and the more I've watched it, the more I'm pissed off, because Dorrans does brilliantly not to handball it. See, when you watch it, like, he clears one initially, and it comes to him, and he turns his chest at the last minute and chests it away, whereas you think straight away it's going to hit his hand, and he does so well. And then he's sent off, which is a shame for him because he was at fault for the goal against Thistle last week. Despite that, he did quite well, and again on Saturday he was probably our best player until he gets sent off. So it's not really happening for him just now. And Yogi's honeymoon period is kind of over, and we go into Queen and South next Saturday having to win, I think. But yeah, Hamilton get 3 points. They are utterly dreadful. The bottom half of that league is shambolic, but I mean, dog shit, as someone once referred to it as.
Let's not talk about that. No, let's not. That was a disaster.
Did you see that the show after that? Somebody commented that, and someone went and had a go, and he was like, "Nah, it's for David's poo bag." I was trolling through the comments.
Love that.
But yeah, both teams were just awful at the weekend. But anyway, there's nothing else to be said. It was just a rotten game of football. I don't. We have beyond me though, so it went down quite nice.
I had the pals on my kit as well.
So did I, mate. So I put £20 on them, like I do most weeks just now. But I'm going to stop doing that.
Did you do that under Peter Grant?
No, never. The first time I ever did it was Yogi. I did it at Inverness and then Ayr. And then I did it against Thistle.
You would have really fucking hated Peter
I
Grant.
have no money more so. No, I'm joking. I'm never ever slagging Peter Grant off again because I feel really sorry for him.
Because of that interview that he had.
Yeah, I do feel really sorry for him. I hear him talk and I'm like, oh fuck, it's quite bad actually. He'll be hurting. But anyway, we move on. If Falkirk FC or anyone on the board of directors are watching, he is available for management if you would like to contact him and offer him the job. Right, Friday night was Inverness 1, Kilmarnock 0. Sean Welsh thunderbolt in front of a really dreadful crowd. Did you see anyone see the Cali Young team giving it bifters on the TV?
No,
they were just giving it the big ones on the TV. It was very good to watch, and that was a good result for Inverness, who have kind of stuttered a bit recently, but they went top of the league, which is interesting. Killie are having a tough time of it, as I thought they might, but again, that league, because it is a separate league, the top 5 remains incredibly tight. At Gayfield it was Arbroath 0, Wraith Rovers 0. As Dick Campbell said, it's another point closer to safety for them.
Good result for Arbroath. Considering Wraith have been playing really well.
I think it's a good result for Wraith, to be honest, going up to Arbroath. A point in Arbroath is a great result.
Either way, but just in the way that Wraith have been playing, man.
And now there's 3 points. It's between 5th and 1st. Arbroath have 3 points off Inverness in 1st, which is just fucking mental. You couldn't predict who's going to win
after
that.
After 16 games or not, it's no.
The fact that Thistle drew 0-0 with Queen of the South compacted it even more. Not much to be said there, really. And what was the final game? Greenock Morton 2, Ayr United 2, which is a really good game of football actually. Goes Ugu, who captained Morton for the day, surprisingly got both the goals, and Bradley and Adeloy got the goals for Ayr United. But that was the last game in charge of Ayr United for Gus McPherson, who was sacked post-match. Morton fans will think that's long overdue, and now they have a managerial vacancy, which is going to be interesting to see who fills that. Two rotten teams is putting on a decent game, which is surprising. I don't know who's going to take that Morton job. I wouldn't fancy it personally if I was an aspiring manager. Jim Duffy at United might not last much longer. That whole bottom five could have justifiably sacked their managers, bar maybe Queen of the South, who I know are bottom, but they're kind of always a bit like this. Yeah, fuck knows, man. But I wouldn't fancy taking
It's an
a
interesting league, that's for sure.
It is two leagues. That's the thing. We've got to try and be best in the rest, but I don't know if we will. We're going to segue into this because I was going to bring up Big Chipper for that job, but he's stated his interest in the Falkirk job now. In case anyone's unaware, first of all, where have you been? The Falkirk job is available because at the weekend it was Queen's Park 6, Falkirk Football Club 0.
Yeah, it was.
Watched all the goals.
A comedy of errors.
How good was the highlights, by the way?
Aye.
It was unbelievable.
The commentator sounded as surprised as anyone else.
Did you watch the Queen's Park ones?
Well,
the Falkirk ones went up after, and the commentators just got to the point where they just started slagging off their own team, which I thought was brilliant. I think it was the sixth goal was the header from a corner. Was that the sixth goal, or was it?
The sixth goal, I think the centre half just falls over.
One of the goals was a corner, and he was like, the co-commentator went, "Oh, brilliant defending from Falkirk again," and you can sense the irony in that comment. You're like,
you're loving every bit of this, aren't you?
I'm loving it. It's the only thing that's keeping me going just now.
Going, mate,
is that no matter how shit we are, Falkirk Football Club find a way to be worse. Now, Paul Sheeran has been sacked. Obviously, you can't argue with that. The state that they've been in, the results, the where they are on the table.
A lot of the Falkirk fans are wanting Holt.
Well, this is the thing. It's one of those situations where they think the real problem is Gary Holt rather than Paul Sheeran. Now, Gary Holt, who, if we remember, at Livingston was fantastic. His recruitment as director of football or sporting director, whatever he is, has been shocking. His answering of questions in that fan Q&A was shocking.
I think we need to talk about that every time we go in the air, by the way, because it's
one of the best things ever.
If you've got a spare hour and a half, watch that. It's something you would see out of the office, honest.
It's engaging viewing.
You knew the writing was on the wall for Paul Sheeran after watching that.
And I felt a little bit sorry for Paul Sheeran watching it because
he had just been
he's not
given the job at that point,
and the club is a fucking mess.
The summer, is that how early he got?
He went in the summer because who was there? Who was there last year?
It was Lee Miller, wasn't it?
Lee Miller and
the
Dave
joint
McCracken,
manager, Dave McCracken.
What were you going to say?
We see the interim manager at Aberdeen, Wayne McInnes.
He was at Aberdeen, yes.
He was 20s manager before, I know that, and then he took the thing.
But he was highly rated at Aberdeen, and I thought it was a good appointment for them in the summer.
Left a good job.
But I don't think anyone could go in there and do a good job.
It's a cesspit now.
It's a cesspit, and Big Chipper's come out and said that he's keen for it. Obviously, Brian Rice applied for the Dunfermline job and didn't get it, so now he's going for a lesser club like Falkirk, which is fair enough. Will he get that? I don't know. It's a bit of but a character like him is probably you need a big character for that job.
I've seen a couple of people online asking for Peter Houston.
He's been there before, been very successful there before.
He's currently employed by Celtic. I think he's a scout for Celtic at the moment.
I mean, he was in charge of that Falkirk team that got to the playoff final. I think did it within the playoff final. Yes, against Kelly. And Kelly stayed up. Yeah, because they beat Hibs in the semi-final that year. They beat Rangers that season as well, did they not?
Don't talk about the
but they were a
bad times.
They were a good team under Peter Houston. But yeah,
Supporting was good.
It's not a job for like a coach like Paul Sheeran who's not. You need somebody with a bit of personality who can go in there and take over the whole club. A bit like what Yogi's done whilst he's getting everyone.
He seemed too nicey, even just by interviews and stuff.
But just from what you saw from Queen's Park, they needed that, as you mentioned in the car. But Luke O'Connell was heavily involved, wasn't he?
He's a good wee player.
He is a good
I don't think he's going to make it at Celtic, but there'll definitely be suitors.
John Suitors.
Hopefully not. Hopefully we don't go in for him after he's nipping Kyogo.
How dare you?
I know.
We'll come to that because there's a question about him at the end.
What was I saying about Luke O'Connell? He was given like the freedom of the park, the freedom of Firhill to just run in with that goal.
You know what annoyed me about the highlights? I wanted Falkirk to be defending the goal that their own fans were behind in the second half, so I could see the seethe or see how little of them were left.
You love this, don't you? You love.
This is like when Rangers were in the third division.
Aye,
mate.
They were winning most of their games in the third division though.
Div's been at a Falkirk Dunfermline game. It's not night.
Brilliant.
It's intense. We don't like each other at all, by the way.
What a game!
And I'm enjoying it.
Dunfermline absolutely battered them.
We did. Was it 4-2?
No, it was 2-0. Big. Was it Connolly and B Connolly was playing?
B Connolly. I'm sure Miles Hippolyte scored that.
Yeah, he scored the one. He scored the second
first, I think.
Aye, what a game!
But yeah, we'll move on. Cove Rangers 2, Dumbarton 0. Good result for Cove as they maintained a 4-point gap at the top of the league, which is really good. They've gone to a game recently.
Yep. We didn't talk about that appointment from Queen's Park. That I can't
my
remember.
God.
Can't remember his name. I feel terrible for not
Shit,
knowing
I
his
was
name.
hoping you'd remember
But that
that
is
'cause I
an
forgot.
unbelievable
You're from AZ
appointment.
Alkmaar.
Aye,
Wow, that was
big.
That was big, and it just goes to show you their intent and where they want to go as a football club.
They'll be
I
in the
even seen-
Premiership in a couple of years.
I think so. What a story.
Margin Bjerker. Is that fuck knows?
Yeah,
Yep.
there you go.
How is them in the Premiership sustainable? They don't have a big support. They've got like what was the attendance that weekend? I don't know what it would have been, but
Wally
they get-
Hockey's involved, is he not?
I know, but you can't.
A
It's
silent
not
investor.
sustainable. We've seen it before.
He's got 200 million.
Miles
in his
Brooks
bank
and
account.
Are you saying another greatness coming?
Yeah,
here?
Miles Brooks and I'm not saying that because
See with appointments like that, it's obviously like sustaining.
So, you can
Exactly.
see but yeah, okay, fine. The big one was when they went and got Leanne Dempster, who at that time was rumoured to be going to Rangers. By
I
the
know.
way,
It's a phenomenal.
And he ended
They've
up
got some
sent up
team.
at Queen's Park.
They've got
They're
some
serious. That
team.
was but you see that appointment. I was like, right, other teams need to start taking this seriously because they're taking it seriously.
Okay, but then what if they get to the Premiership? Where does the money come from? That's what That's
know.
what I worry about for them. I mean, they're obviously going back to play at Lesser Hampden. I don't know
They
what
can
their
play
plans are for their.
if they do it properly and they could play on their own, they could just try and build that brand slowly but surely and try and get the fans in
But
that
they're
way.
they're not going
'cause the
slowly but
romance
surely
of
on
them.
the pitch, though.
No, they're not. But the just the romance of them is just amazing.
Yeah, I love it. I would love to see a
Then-
successful.
Did you know they invented passing?
They did, yeah. You're right.
Did you know that?
They invented passing.
Queen's Park Football Club invented passing.
Yeah.
Luke O'Connell loves a pass, so it's
He does.
a match
Jiggle
made in
that.
heaven.
They should get John Collins in, and then they can introduce some moving and tempo along with their
That's
passing. Yeah, but this is my thing on this. They're obviously wanting to play at Lesser Hampden. They're renovating it. What's the capacity going to be there? Because it can't be much.
The new it's like
So what if they get to the
500 or
Premiership
something?
and they get like Celtic or Rangers and there's like 750 people at Lesser Hampden? They're not making money
You're
off
like Bournemouth
attendance.
in the
is it?
Premier League.
Yeah, it's just I'm really intrigued to see how it goes.
How
Yeah, it's
mu-
interesting. It's one of those interesting stories
Yeah,
in Scottish
absolutely.
football just now. I
Yeah.
want to watch it long term.
Same.
Kelty as well, the same, and Cove the same as well. We forget about that. I mean, they were in the Highland League 3 years ago. I was watching them on a Wednesday night at Fort William, and now look at them. But they're top of the league.
Mad.
Clyde 2, Peterhead 2. I'm not saying much more.
Peterhead
about
were
that
ahead in that as well. I had them on my bloody cooting.
They were. And
Get it
then
together, Si.
East Fife 1, Alloa Athletic 1. Now guess what happened to Alloa Athletic?
I'll tell you exactly what happened. It was 1-0. Alloa got another man sent off.
Barry, what you doing?
And then they could beat 2-1. So I was so interested in this.
One each.
Did they not get beat?
No, it was one each, mate.
Right, was it an equaliser that they conceded?
Aye, yeah.
After it, that's what I meant. Now, why? They were ahead in the game, and then that happened. So
That's
I was interested in this. I was like, how many red cards have they had? So I checked the fair play table. They've got six red cards so far this season, but there's something like joint, like least amount of yellow cards.
Wow.
That is strange.
That's so weird, isn't it?
We've just got a lot of hotheads.
Where do you think they get that from? No,
Yeah,
I know.
Who'd have thought
They
that?
need to sort that out because the amount of times they've been in commanding positions and they've just threw the points at me.
How many red cards did Barry Ferguson have in his career? Did he actually get a lot of red cards? Because it's like the Scott Brown thing. Scott Brown didn't get that many red cards.
It
in
was
his
early in
career.
his career, Scott Brown. he
Yeah,
was
but
more
this-
that kind of player.
This
But
idea that they've
Ferguson's a good player.
yeah,
Very
he
good player.
He was very good.
he was.
Right, was that the last game? Montrose against Airdrie is tonight, Tuesday night, which will be an interesting game. Right, Scottish League 2, which I haven't got up yet. So
Kelty were playing in the Scottish Cup, so they weren't on it, and they progressed to the next round, putting out
shite.
Montrose on
There was
penalties.
replays at the weekend, wasn't there?
There was replays. Darvo and Brechin was postponed, and Kelty put Montrose out 1-0 in normal time and 3-1 in penalties. But Jonas, your man Cardo scored a pen, and he scored in ordinary time as well.
He's just a fucking
Kelty are
legend, by the
flying,
way.
putting Montrose out. That's some skill.
Running away with that league.
Did you say they won it in extra time?
They won at pens.
Yeah. Cardle opened the scoring. I think he's on double figures for the season now, Super Joe, off the wing. Yeah, that's a good scalp for them because Montrose are obviously a team from the league above who Kelty will be competing with next season, no doubt. Now, does that mean there was only a handful of fixtures in League 2 at the weekend?
Yeah, I think it was 3.
3.
Rovers are playing, they lost 3-2.
Okay. Yes, you must be gutted about that because obviously we know
Wasn't a really good turnout at all.
There
I
was
think there was
four.
only about 200 people there.
there was 4 games. It's not great, is it?
No, it's not.
No, I mean Clifton Hill is a shithole.
It
but-
really is bad. I feel bad in saying that because it's your local ground and
See
stuff.
what I heard.
Oh, it's your local ground.
If you want to get piles, go and sit in their seats, man.
Cutting about with the Dukey Argyles.
Absolute gel guitong seats.
It's not great. It's not great.
Stranraer won 4-1 against Steny. Do you still hate Stranraer? Or are you over it now? think you're over it now. You've not mentioned it.
I'm over it now because he beat Steny. So
Do you not like Steny?
nah, I hate Steny.
And the Blue Brazil beat Stirling Albion 1-0. Big result for Cowden Beath, that, by the way. Who, if I'm not mistaken...
Stirling have fell away to fuck.
I know they have, right? But Cowden are rock bottom of the league, and Stirling, they're still in fourth.
Yeah.
That was another good result for Forfar. I know that Kelty are flying away, but Forfar looked good for the playoffs. And Annan, I think... Did Annan win? I think so they won. Did they win? Somebody help me?
And
yes, they beat Edinburgh City 1-0.
Good result.
Good result for them as well.
And they're second and third. So, yeah, Forfar and Annan flying as well as Kelty. And that was the results for the weekend. Now, anything we need to talk about? Any big issues?
I was trying to get us a quiz, but I can't get one.
Duffers is sleeping.
Duffer says at 10 o'clock, easy days to get a quiz, and it's now 20 past 12 and he's nowhere to be seen.
Fix that, man.
It's a shambles.
Let me get the questions up.
Is there? I can't try to think if there's any topics. What's happening this week? So
Europa League's happening.
Leon away.
Yep.
For the...
Ugh, it won't be though, will it?
Nah, it'll go anyway. Who was that in your thing there?
Don't even know.
Boris Johnson? No, it was above that. I was unsure.
No.
That was a picture for the party though, with Boris Johnson.
Right, okay, so Celtic are playing Real Betis at Parkhead. Are you going, McGinley? You'll be there, will you know?
I will be, yes. Even though it's a bit of a dead rubber, I want to see
Are you getting a game?
Maybe. Over Urugide, probably, aye. I don't know who will be playing on Thursday night, but I just hope there's a bit of rotation because there's no point in playing any.
So Rogic is not going to play.
No.
Kyogo's not going to play. Abada will come back in, you'd think. Scales will play. McCarthy will play. Beaton will play.
Barkas.
No, Bain will come in. Will Bain come in?
I think there's some players that you just play regardless.
Because Welsh is injured, isn't he?
Welsh is injured.
So who'll play at the back?
Starfelt, I'd play him.
Probably play.
I'd keep him going.
Urugide might play. Scales might play.
No way, surely no.
Is Urugide ahead of Dave Murray?
Do you know what he'll do? I think he'll play Scales at centre half and he'll play Taylor at left back to build up his fitness a wee bit more.
That's a good shout.
Juranovic will stay right back.
Aye, has to. There's nobody else. Or he might play Montgomery at left back actually as well.
And then play Taylor at right back.
No, I think he'd play. I still think he'll play Juranovic.
Whatever, as you say, it's a dead rubber.
And what about Rangers? Is that game completely meaningless?
Rangers are through and they can't finish top, so that's a dead rubber as well.
What are you expected to see?
Rotation as
Ryan
well.
Jack start?
Ryan Jack, hopefully.
Kemar
Roof through the middle. Maybe Scott Wright, yeah. Aye, just
Nathan
a lot of
Patterson.
rotation. Nathan Patterson, definitely. I would like to see start.
They can't really rotate his centre half because they don't have any.
Nah. Unfortunately.
Is it
Jack Simpson's not even in the Europa League squad. Rangers didn't have a centre half on the bench against Sparta Prague to beat them 2-0. What the fuck?
Is it true that Sakala and Morelos are both one booking away from missing the next round?
So
Probably, so get them booked.
No,
Miss the next round?
Aye, miss the next round,
Oh,
aye.
right.
Well,
So you'll probably play Roof up front then?
Aye, Roof up front, aye. I would have liked to have seen Sakala start though, but he started at the weekend. So aye, Roof has
Take
to
the
get a
risk,
game.
obviously.
Roof has to. Roof's too good to constantly be sitting on the bench.
McGregor?
Nah, it'll be McGregor. McLaughlin will maybe come back in.
Aye, well, of course he will. McGregor's not playing.
But aye.
You're not playing Al McGregor in a meaningless game at 39, 40-year-old whatever he is now. That's
Aye,
just
leave him in the house,
stupid.
man, with the slippers on.
Aye, absolutely.
Oh, McLaughlin's not in the squad actually. So McCrory it would be.
How is McLaughlin not in the squad?
No, he's not in the Europa League squad.
No, I'd like to see McCrory get a run out. Speaking of slippers, Dom Thomas has got an injury, which is devastating news for me.
Plenty more time to DM you.
Plenty more time with DM me. You can DM me all you want. But yeah, his slippers and the house coat will be getting a right good wearing over the next few weeks as he's out injured.
Your tweet is just jinxed him, hasn't it?
How?
Because you were talking about house coat and slippers, not.
And now he's in the house.
He's literally in the house.
You just predicted it.
I don't know. He was seeing
Literally.
He was seeing a specialist today. I don't know what the outcome was, but there was worry that he might need surgery, which is a nightmare because we are rotten, and he's been the only real player that's looked like doing stuff recently. So it's upsetting, but it gives Kai Kennedy a chance to shine, hopefully, before he gets withdrawn back to Rangers in January. You know, Rangers asked us not to play him against Partick Thistle in the Cup, so he wouldn't be cup tied.
Yeah.
So they're obviously planning to send him somewhere else in January, which is absolutely fair enough because he's not been getting a game. Anything else?
No, don't think so.
Are you leading question time today?
I might do it, yeah.
David Dimbleby in the corner.
Yeah. There's David Dimbleby.
We're here tonight in Oxford, and the studio audience have questions for us. Tonight on the panel is MP for...
that actually does sound like him.
MP for... where the fuck was Dennis Skinner from? What was Dennis Skinner's constituency? Oh my god, that's going to annoy me.
I don't know.
It began with a B, I think. You know I'm talking about, Big Dennis Bolsover, that was it. The MP for Bolsover, Dennis Skinner, the Tory MP, Fanny McFannison, and I'm just talking
What age is that David Dimbleby? About 200?
Nah, he's not kicking the ball anymore. It's that Fiona Bruce
is taking over. She's just not the same.
No, she's good though.
She's alright.
She's alright. She's not got the Dimbleby effect. You know what I'm saying? Dev, you don't watch Question Time, do you?
Nah.
Somebody
completed it, mate.
See if you were
I don't watch the telly.
See, the only time I ever watch the telly is when I go home and my mum will come home from work late, right, and we'll sit and watch Bullseye on Challenge.
You've got to see Coronation Street.
No,
Challenge is a decent channel.
Challenge is amazing because we always watch Challenge.
Aye.
And it'll be like Bullseye, and then the game we play is you've got to guess what the special prize is going to be.
I love it.
And Bully's special prize, and it's like a holiday in Spain or a caravan or a speedboat. I just love it. Jimbo and
it's just a shame that everybody on the show's probably
they're all pan-breed, of course they are, but it was just amazing television. It's so good.
It's when they bring the professionals out.
Yeah.
And
it's like a young Phil Taylor or something.
Or Eric Bristow or something.
Bristow's there.
You look at the averages and then you look at darts now. That's something I'm really looking forward to. I know it's Scottish football we're talking about, but the World Championships are coming soon.
But bit of bad news. John Henderson away. He's not qualified.
A Scottish legend, a Scottish sporting legend in the peak of
Friend
physical
of
peak of his career.
John Henderson's great, isn't he? And Gary Anderson's been a bit shite recently, isn't he? I just don't want...
The winner's going to be Welsh, let's be honest. The winner's going to be Welsh. And
I keep getting some amount of feedback.
I need to.
Apologies for the listeners. As long as Gowan Price doesn't win it, that's...
The winner's going to be Welsh, either way. Him or Clayton, one of the two.
I think so. I quite fancy Van den Berg. As an outside shirt, Dimitri.
Likes to choke a lot. He chokes a lot on the big stage.
It's awful, isn't it?
I know, it's really bad.
Is that going to stop?
No, probably not. Just
think we're getting hacked. Right. I don't know.
We're just talking shite now. Anyway, this is the stage
Question
of the show.
time.
Sorry. What are they leaving in the comments now?
Leave in the comments.
Something about darts since we did it. No, just Bullseye. We'll do Bullseye.
Bully's special prize.
No, Bully's special prize. Just write that in the comments.
And then,
That's too much.
What would
you guess it would be?
Yeah.
So you're
what would
watching
be our special prize?
You're watching an episode of Bullseye, right? And all we want in the comments is Bully's special prize. Then next to it, a guess of what you think it would be. So it's always something
for us though. It could be like for us so it could be Scottish related.
Okay. Explain.
I don't know. Obviously, you'd get dog poo.
Stop talking about that, please.
Bully special prize and then something.
Yeah, just whatever you want. Whatever takes your fancy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Participation in any form is lovely.
He wants to go home. Let's get a question of the go.
No, I'm smart and arguing with FIFA.
Aye, am I playing you?
If you want, winner stay on in it.
I'm fucking starving.
So Lewis asks, given Cal McGregor's performance,
are we just going Lewis? You're not going to reference Lewis Laird? That's a bit friend of the channel too.
I was being nice, me and him first name to him, same uni
class. The viewer needs to know what's happening.
What team does Lewis support?
Celtic B. Celtic B.
He's the absolute info man.
Lewis Laird says, given Cal McGregor's performance on Sunday, do you believe his best position is in the deeper role of midfield? Yes.
I don't.
Currently
in this squad and the formation that they play in that, I would say so. But
I think his best position is where he plays for Scotland.
I think we will sign a holding midfielder though in January though. I think we'll sign somebody that will go in there.
I think the best formation is like a 4-2-3-1. So beside somebody.
That's what Ryan's saying as well. He likes watching him.
He's beside Gilmore,
playing with somebody,
and then you give somebody so that if Celtic sign somebody to play beside him, and you give Rogic freedom like McGinn gets, rather than Rogic and Turnbull, you've got McGregor and somebody. McGregor's still a little bit deeper, but he's got that little bit extra license to bomb on.
I would say that as well. I mean, you see,
I like his versatility though.
Yeah,
I think in that current Celtic team though, it's probably the best for the whole team.
That's what I would say.
I was looking at some of the passing sort of charts that he had. It's all coming through McGregor. It all just comes through him. If he gets injured, we are absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
Who but Arden asks,
what's the point of you replying to the tweets if you can answer them?
No, I said I replied saying I'll wax lyrical about CDM Calmac because I absolutely love him to bits, man.
What's your favourite Calmac boat?
CDM Calmac.
Mine's the Loch Fyne. I've got some great memories on there.
What did you say?
What's your
favourite Calmac boat? You just won't know any of them because these are city boys.
Calmac boat?
The Loch Fyne. I've got some great memories in the Loch Fyne, I have to say.
Boat spot?
Lomond?
I've heard the train spot, not boat spot.
Nah, they've all got names, all the boats. It's just a common thing up my way.
Is it officials?
Yeah, the Lord of the Isles or the Loch Fyne out my way. Know a few boys that work in the Loch Fyne, lazy bastards, every single one of them. But move on.
Arden Smith asks, who would win in an MMA fight, Callum Butcher or Alan Power?
Alan Power.
Yeah, aye.
I think
Butcher's a shite bag, isn't he?
Power's
a hard man.
He has got a bit.
So he is.
So King Chad is
King Chaduri.
King Chad says,
Don't ya?
How that video. How many points do you see St Mirren picking up over the next 5 games? Hibs, Celtic, Rangers, Dundee United, and Motherwell. And
they're Jim Goodwin away.
And we're already without a win in 8. Keep up the good work,
By the
troops.
way.
It's a shocker.
So say the first one.
Hibs.
Right, was it home or away?
It doesn't say home or away.
You would fancy Hibs. I would say.
No, maybe a draw.
Could get a draw at that at the best. I'd say. Who else?
Celtic and Rangers.
That's 2 beating the both of them.
Dundee United and then Motherwell.
Beating. Listen, they could come out that with 0. By the way,
there is a real chance they're going to go 13 games without a win.
Aye, I would say so.
It's a big time.
So the Gaffer and Bucks.
See if Jim Goodwin gets 0 points at those 5 games, is he sacked?
Aye.
Do you think so?
Wow.
He probably would be, wouldn't he?
How the turntables, eh?
I just think that I think their recruitment was awful in the summer. The wrong type of player, in my opinion. Going out and getting power on that. When you looked at them last year, they like to play.
Didn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
I didn't
also, Charles done at the back. I know that you're bringing in experience and all
Dunn,
that, but I just don't think that this style of players about to go suited them in the way that they want to play, letting Dermot go and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, Dermot's really came onto a game at the end of last season.
Give Duffy a nightmare.
If they are winless at the end of that, he might get sacked. Definitely. Wow, that's mental.
Which Celtic goal against Dundee United was better? Lionel Rogic or Kalmak's quarterback pass to Turnbull? I like that because it was like a quarterback pass.
Rogic was the best goal of his
It was though. It was individual
brilliance.
Rogic,
aye.
The thing about this is, and you've never done this before in a show, you've got to proofread them before you read them out.
Yeah.
Because some of them can be
I'm a quick reader. Who would win in a fight between Jim Goodwin after a last minute offside defeat or Big Yogi?
Yogi's a monster. Have you seen him? Yogi's battering.
I want to know what he benches, man.
And Goodwin's a lot more. Goodwin's talk, isn't he? Goodwin, he likes to
He's a bit of a poser as well.
He
definitely spends a bit of time.
Whereas Yogi's just hard as nails.
He's a silver fox.
Yeah.
Big Jim.
Yogi would batter him.
He reminds me of the property boss, so he does. Didn't he? Spitting image.
I don't want to ask too many Celtic questions, but
just hit me quickly.
Japanese trio Daisen Maeda, Ryo Hatate, and Yusuke Edoguchi. Do you think they'd be a good sign?
The pronunciation.
I just know them. I'm just.
Do I think that they'll be good signings?
Don't have a clue.
I cannot tell you.
Yes,
but
because
if you want to look at the previous signing that they brought in, Kyogo, I think he's got to fish in that market
again.
Maeda
guy looks magic, to be fair.
Maeda looks tailor made. He looks as if he's had a paper round, I don't know, where's a hard area of Japan. The guy looks as if he's 40.
Talk to Benjamin Button. He is.
But my God, the guy can run. And that Hatate, Maeda and Hatate both got in the J1 league team of the season, basically. So
where does that Maeda play? Does he play
left
through them?
wing?
Oh, so
left wing attacking mid striker.
So what happens?
Nah, don't sign them.
If they sign Jota,
he's good.
If they sign Jota permanently, where's he play?
It's looking like that's going to be the case as well, which is good. 6.5 million for Jota.
Oh my God, I can't remember where I heard it, but
isn't it?
Somebody was saying there was a guy that Celtic were looking at that has a much higher reputation and profile than Kyogo. That he just looks even better.
Probably Maeda's the top scorer in the league. No, in fact, he's joint top scorer with Leandro Damal. He was linked with Spurs 7-8 years ago.
Was Kyogo not like top scorer in the league for a good wee while after
he left? Yeah. And then Maeda, who Ange signed for Marinos, has went through. He's the top sprinter.
Japanese connoisseur, man.
Yes.
I'm just into it now because I just know that's the market that we'll be shopping in from now on. And fair enough, because no other team are doing it, so we might as well get these.
And the thing is, with these guys, because obviously the work permit rules are a nightmare, but they've all got international caps, so it makes it a lot easier.
That would be the problem with Edoguchi because he hasn't played that many games for Japan.
I think there is. Ross MacArthur, Dunfermline chairman, referenced this because he was asked about, because when we get German owners and then we're like, oh, you're going to get German players, and he was like, oh, it's a nightmare, work permits. But he reckoned the SFA were working on something to try and change the rules in January or something like that. So I don't know if that'll happen or not.
But I think 2 out of 3 of them would be good, but I think Ange sees something in Edoguchi that Bielsa didn't at Leeds.
Okay, interesting.
Has Aribo's season that Mr. Loyal Van Haji, Jacob MacArthur, I should have read his username rather than anything. Has Aribo's season gone really under notice this season?
I would say so, aye.
I think on this show we've praised him quite heavily.
We have, but
past couple of weeks.
The past couple of weeks he's really been getting the praise I think his season's deserved. By far he's been Rangers' best player, and Rangers are top of the league still by 4 points, and do you know what I mean? So I would say so, aye.
Aye.
He could do it in the Premier League down south as well.
And the second part of this question: do you think Goldson will leave in January?
Nope.
No. I think it'd be
He'll go for free in
absolutely
the summer.
crazy to get rid of him. But I do think he'll sign a Bosman or whatever and go.
You'll like this one, Buick. Have we hit peak Falkirk banter years?
I
Asks
hope
Ross
not.
Hamilton.
I really fucking hope not. I think they've got one more disaster. You know what the funniest thing would be if they went and got Ray McKinnon back? That would be a good laugh. I hope not, but probably. Yeah, I can't see it getting much worse for them than this. But it has been great to watch.
Oh, that's a good one. Gavin Gardner asks, with the recent highlighted refereeing performances, what is the worst decision you can remember that you've seen given for or against your team? Great show, guys.
Oh, what a great question that is.
There's been that many.
Of course there fucking has. Rangers can.
Oh, shut up, you prick.
I could say the same.
The one that sticks out to me isn't obviously against my team, but I remember a goal Motherwell get chopped off where there was literally 3 players playing the ball onside. It was a mile onside.
That's a Cala decision against Motherwell this season was pretty scandalous.
That was a shocker.
Because it's just so bad.
He's
standing right behind him.
Standing offside.
In terms of games I've watched on the telly, and I know this isn't Scottish football, but Robin van Persie getting that second yellow against Barcelona, was it?
Yeah, it was just
after shooting, after the offside. In terms of my own one,
bad one. There was the
Meekins against Celtic.
I was going to bring
the
that up.
semi-final. That was a
dreadful
one.
I mean, I'm going to bring this one up. I didn't see it because I was slightly too young. But Scottish Cup final 2004, Celtic against Dunfermline. Henrik Larsson's last game for Celtic. Dunfermline 1-0 up. Bobo Balde with a blatant handball in the box would have given us a penalty for 2-0. He literally punched the ball like that, and we didn't get a penalty. And then 30 seconds later, Henrik Larsson put the ball in the net for Celtic down the other end.
Fairy tale.
I mean, we would have been 2-0 up in the cup final, and we were good. That was a good Dunfermline team. We probably would have won that cup final, which is a sore one for a lot of people older than me who can remember it. I also remember the Dorrans one's a pretty scandalous one as well, I think.
Yeah,
because he's just guessed. He hasn't obviously. He hasn't seen a handball because there wasn't a handball to see, so he's obviously guessed. That's what pisses me off most about it. Refs always say they've got to be 100% sure.
In terms of one that the referee hasn't seen, then the one on the cut Broadfoot. No, in fact that's a different one. But the penalty that we get given against us against Rangers that Willie Collum isn't even looking at the decision.
What is that? Where he pulls his shot? No, is that another one?
No, I can't remember the exact thing, but Willie Collum gets some amount of criticism after it. He wasn't even looking at the incident.
A couple of seasons ago as well, Alan Power fucking kicked Ryan Jack right in the head.
Aye.
Ryan Jack standing straight,
aye.
and there's a picture of him just kicking Ryan Jack right in the skull.
Previous, man.
The one where, do you remember the one when Alan Shearer kicked Neil Lennon in the head?
Yes.
That's one of the worst ones ever.
That's
I've seen that clip a lot last season.
You get the jail for that.
That was a song.
Talking about that, did you see the one tonight from Godfrey on Tommy Yasu? Of course, hard working man. It's on the like throw-in line. and Godfrey literally stands on Tommy Yasu's chin. And
shocking. It
doesn't even go to VAR. Like the VAR checks it and says that there's nothing. What is it?
Tesco bags just getting
Love
it. Another recent one that came into my head there was the Conor Hazard red card in the B team recently.
Some dies from
that's not so much
redacted name.
And then the fact that he gave a penalty was what made that really, really bad.
There has been that many.
There has been so many.
It's just pure.
Actually no, the worst one ever is Alan Hutton against Italy. When Hutton's dragged to the ground, and that still makes me feel sick.
Fucking sickening.
I still feel sick looking at it. There was also a Scotland one against Czech Republic where I think we drew 2 each in the end. They died for a pen that was given. Yeah, the Alan Hutt one still makes me feel sick. I remember watching it as a kid in the house, just beeling. But yeah, there's been a lot of shockers, hasn't there?
Yes.
Mental doubt having not full-time referees means that you have shit decisions all the time.
That's why we need to get VAR in, boys.
No, we don't. We need to get full-time referees first. How can you have VAR and not get full-time referees? What a mental idea that is.
VAR.
It's mental how we talked about like goal line technology. Are we just going to get both now?
You watched the Everton game tonight, didn't you? Was there not lots of controversy about the offside goal that was disallowed that shouldn't have been disallowed?
It's one of those ones. I was saying Kyogo would have scored it because it was one of those ones that's so close, but the lines are thicker, they were saying this season, but it's still a tiny bit offside.
How can the lines be thicker?
Fine,
I don't know.
The most expensive league in the world has had VAR for 3 seasons now,
and
they're still always talking about VAR.
They find a way
more than they ever did about refs.
They'll find a way of fucking everything though.
Could you imagine?
It's been used
VAR in this country. It'd be a fucking disaster.
VAR in the Euros was used to perfection.
Yes, but the Euros are the best
and the Champions League
referees
as well,
in Europe.
to be fair.
Yes.
We've got RE teachers refereeing in Scotland.
Don't care.
It's fucking nonsense.
We'd get less, but some of the decisions, right? I know the close ones and all that you can dispute, but some of the decisions are just fucking god awful that you need somebody to just have a word.
And that's the thing, if we were to bring in VAR, it would highlight to UEFA the standard of refereeing, I think, as well. Because if you have these sort of incidents, then it would highlight to them how bad the refereeing is.
Where are we getting money for VAR? Because if you look at the Celtic Hearts game last week, the Kyogo offside incident, the reason there's so much deliberation was because we didn't have the right camera angle. We couldn't see a camera angle direct across the line, which is why there's so much debate about it. So if VAR wouldn't be able to do that because you don't have the right camera angle. And where are they getting that money from?
I don't know.
It's just a nightmare.
You need to get the Hearts video.
Mate, we've still got fucking pitches in Glasgow locked and boys can't get a kick about, and we're still it's a nonsense, mate.
There's a pitch up my way now at school. They've left it open for the bench to go and play, and every time I drive past it, there's no cunt on it though because they're all playing their PS5s.
Well, it's too late now, isn't it?
I mean, have you seen the PS5 though? Unreal.
We'll have a
wee game after this.
Right, okay. Anyone left?
Yeah, I've got Saucy Van Glen.
It's a theme here.
Oh, I know him. I don't know him.
This is a good one. If you had sleep paralysis, who would you rather have at the bottom of your bed? A. Headless Jim Goodwin. B. Neil Lennon Newcastle version. And I love that this guy doesn't even have like a gimmick. It's just David Martin.
Who would you rather or least rather?
Who would you rather have at the bottom of your
bed? For me, I think it would be Neil Lennon because I just tell him to get off me.
Get off me. No, he'd tell you.
Why would he be on you? But
put a wee wig on.
I wouldn't.
I would say
I wouldn't want to see headless Jim Goodwin. Have you seen that?
Aye, the green
I've
screen.
realised what that's dreamful.
The green screen, is it?
Amazing. That is haunting. Martin, I wouldn't want Martindale. I'll have Lenny. Why not? Because he's not coming near me. He wants me to get away from him. But
I'm bad with it. But why is it at the bottom of your bed and you've never met him before?
All night you've got sleep paralysis and he's just like, get off me.
You'd kick him out the gaff and it'll be bad old Lenny.
But it'll be bad old Lenny. Now, Mort managers come up to me looking for a square goal. I'm not going to back down. Amazing.
And I've got
that should be in the Hall of Fame of like interviews ever. It's amazing, that post match.
Scottish football is unrivaled.
The cinch, God bless it.
Got two questions here from Aldo. Would you use one off the big man? Which I'm presuming is Santa because he put the Santa emoji.
Yeah, but I think so. What do I want?
I've already got a few things.
I want something about my aftershave. It's the worst thing not having a bird. It's something about
what's your aftershave of choice?
I'm really not even fussed, mate.
Have you got a bird?
Going. No, I'm don't. That's the whole point. But that's something a bird would buy for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
A wee sauvage.
Yeah, we do a sauvage.
I love a sauvage.
Make it more. So I need aftershave. So if Mum and Dad are watching, buy me some aftershave for Christmas. They will be watching, and then they're gonna phone me.
You're getting a link set.
They're gonna phone me tomorrow night and say, "Stop swearing in that podcast."
Aye. I think I toned down the swearing a wee bit tonight.
I don't think we've swear as much tonight.
It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, sometimes you do swear a bit. Well, no, I say.
But that's the way
I don't mean you. I mean you go home and you think, oh, I swore too much.
Harnessing and Gary V.
We're expressing our personality and people enjoy that.
Yes.
People have said to me, don't stop the swearing on that. It's good he's got personality.
Aye.
I mean, mainstream media is dying on its arse. We are the future, ladies and gents.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say we are the people.
We are the people.
Wait, what was the question again?
What do you want, man?
What do I want or what am I getting? Do you know what I mean? That's two different.
I don't mind a link set. It's nice, isn't it?
A cuddle.
I got the missus a few good things, so now she's trying to make up for it. So
she won't be watching.
I like that. I like that. You've taken the first move. She's got to step up now.
Aye.
But you hope she's going to step up.
No, she will.
She will.
Took me to Cuba for my 21st for 2 weeks, all inclusive.
Wow.
Aye.
Dynamite. Nice. What about you?
That again, please.
I don't know.
Cuba's a bizarre place to go on holiday.
Oh, fucking brilliant. The Caribbean, isn't it?
Unrealistic, but unbeaten run in December and then into the 2nd of January would be
Santa Claus,
absolutely lovely.
What are you thinking? The big man means Ange Postecoglou? Is that what you're thinking? That question means?
I wasn't, but I am now. he could definitely get that gig. In terms of materialistic stuff, I don't know. I've got a PS5, so maybe games for that. I don't know.
Okay, nice.
Do you have enough time to game?
No, not really. I hardly play it. Mine's
Who's got enough time? Mate, you know what I mean?
Being an adult is shite.
I was like getting a haircut the other day and two barbers on and our boy getting his haircut and they're all talking about playing COD and that. I'm like, mate,
that was all I did when I was unemployed.
I'd give 5 minutes to get a game of COD. Do you know what I mean?
Like
5 minutes, my life.
I feel like the last stand of me like playing games religiously was lockdown. Like, that was a lovely wee time.
Lockdown 1 was amazing,
Mate.
man. We used to be in search and destroy every single night. To
Pro
the point
clubs
boys
and
were
Warzone.
racing to get
Aye.
on to be in that 6-man team.
And that's where Warzone just broke out, didn't it?
Warzone's
probably the
done.
reason
Warzone's away. Verdansk away.
Was
Verdansk
it?
away.
Verdansk's
Oh,
away.
right.
New map
Specific
coming.
now, innit?
Is it out now, the new map? I've not played
I
it.
don't know
I
if
need
it's
to-
tomorrow or something, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to play it.
I'm quite sad to see
I'm-
Verdansk go. It was a lockdown. It's
I
just,
feel like 24, my reflexes have gone completely. I'm not as fast as what I used to be on games. My wee brother's much better at games than me. The wee sad.
I was just going to mention there was
Me
a
and,
lot of.
me and David were struggling to even connect the second PS5
We had to
controller.
Google how to connect the
You were
controller.
on custom control A, weren't
Can you move it in analog?
There was some offside
you?
shot.
Somebody
going on
is
there
for
as
the
well.
watching that was using that controller.
Aye,
before.
fuck you hell,
Right.
like just your players
What was
can't
the last
move.
question?
And the last question: Do you think that Tony, and I'm guessing that means Tony Watt, not Tony Ralston, even though he's scored a few? Do you think Tony Watt will finish top scorer? I think he has
No.
a great chance playing out his skin now.
I don't think so.
do
I
you
think he's
think will
playing
be?
out his skin. I think it will either be
I think it'll be Kyogo
Kyogo, Kemar Roof.
or Christian Ramirez.
Nah,
Right, Ramirez will be up there if he stays fit.
Roof or Kyogo for me.
Kyogo or Ramirez for me. I
I'm-
don't think
He's
I can't.
always had a great goal scoring record. It's just
Yeah,
injuries
I think
that held him
Morelos is
back.
on 5 and off.
Rangers chop and change too much up front. That's why I don't think they'll be a Rangers player top scorer. They do
Nah.
chop and change far too much.
Jota's on 5 as well, and he only came in September.
Yeah.
He's done a really good job. But
He would
problem is he's
do
injured.
really well to do it because obviously his position.
They're very fluid, that front three though. Aren't they?
Tony Watt is absolutely flying, but I don't think he'll.
Keep it up.
Sustain
Keep
it.
it up.
How many? So is Nisbet on 4 now? 'Cause
Nisbet won't finish top goal scorer. I
Well,
don't
he
think.
might hit a run now though. He's hit a wee bit of form.
Nah, I don't.
He tends to score in spurts as well.
I think
Nisbet.
he
Boy
does.
was your top man,
Could be up
didn't he,
there.
for that?
But Martin Boyce is Martin Boyce, Liam Boyce. You said Boy also made me say Martin. Liam Boyce will be up there as well if he stays fit.
They'll be up there, I think. There's so many this year, to be fair, but is that because there isn't a standout
Liam Boyce
candidate
is-
for
this is
Rangers
a-
or Celtic?
Liam Boyce has done it before.
This is an unpopular opinion. See, Kyogo, I know he's scored a lot of goals. He's not the best finisher in the world. It's
I
because
completely agree.
he's faster than everybody else mentally.
He's got a habit of being in the right place at the right time. Morelos, as I say, and they're both not great finishers.
And
but
if you
they're
get a lot of chances,
good
you'll
goal
score
scorers.
goals.
There's a difference between a great finisher and a great goal scorer.
Yep.
It's two different things.
I just think the amount of chances you get playing at the two
he is
clubs,
gonna-
it's ultimately got to be
Always
one of
scores
them.
the harder chances.
But is that why Tony Watt should get as much praise as possible? Because
He should get more. Like,
yeah,
some of the goals he's scoring, and he needs to work for a hell of a lot of them.
For a
so.
team that I thought Van Veen was going to get a lot of the goals for them, it's good that Tony Watt's providing that option as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I think that's us.
And Nelstad.
is that us?
I think so, mate.
Let me check. if
Oh,
I've got a
sorry,
quiz.
no, there was one more thing. I had that I meant to come up.
No quiz.
Preston North End have sacked their manager. Have you seen who's been tipped?
Callum Davidson.
Callum Davidson's been heavily
Take
tipped
it.
for that job.
Get out.
I would take it and run if I
Get
was
out
him.
before the fucking sink ships,
Yeah.
mate. The
Before-
ship sinks. Get us out of here.
Because he's already having a bit of a comeback down to earth.
Aye.
I would.
I
Probably
mean, it's
go.
going to happen when you get rid of two of your best players. I know your best
Well,
players.
the
Your
two best players,
aye,
yeah,
for me,
yeah.
your best players.
Yeah, I would go. I mean, Alex Neil did a good job, Preston, did he not?
Oh, aye.
Or am I meant that?
I like
think
Alex
he did a
Neil.
good job. He's still managerless as well.
Yes, he is.
Unemployed, sorry.
Yeah.
I wonder where he'll go next.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one.
He'll try and get a job down in England.
It was
I
funny seeing the Falkirk fans. Some of the Fairmont fans fell into this trap as well, tipping Derek McInnes for the Falkirk job and Alex Neil for the Falkirk job, as if Derek McInnes is going to rock up at fucking in Grangemouth at the
Plenty
three
of work
stands.
on the TV there now. So.
Well, the fucking stadium's in Grangemouth. It's not in Falkirk. Why do they call it the Falkirk Stadium? It's in fucking Grangemouth, weirdos, man. But it was good. The best thing for Falkirk at the weekend was that all the Falkirk fans could count the goals they conceded on one hand. That was quite good for them. So fair play to them. But we'll leave the podcast on that because I think that's a great note to end on. Thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.